She thought it would be bold, empowering, and unforgettable. But what Meghan Markle unleashed with one viral pregnancy video wasn't admiration, it was outrage. And now Hollywood's done pretending it's fine. Netflix is furious, studios are cutting ties, and insiders say this could be the moment Meghan's entire brand collapses in real time. What really happened behind that screaming meltdown? Why did Netflix producers have to rip the mic out of her hands? And how did one video spiral into the industry's biggest PR disaster of the year? Stay locked in, because this isn't just backlash, it's Meghan Markle's Hollywood unraveling, and the cameras caught everything. It all started with that one video. Meghan Markle, front-facing camera, belly in frame, lip-syncing a trending rap song with exaggerated hand gestures and a confident sway. Convinced it would be seen as raw, powerful, and different. But what she didn't expect was that the internet would call it everything from awkward to embarrassing to downright delusional. The clip went viral for all the wrong reasons. Not because it was edgy or relatable, but because people said it felt more like a poorly timed publicity stunt than a genuine celebration of motherhood. And to make matters worse, Meghan didn't post it casually. She tied it directly to her Netflix show with Love, Meghan, implying it was part of some official campaign when in reality, it wasn't even approved by Netflix's PR team. That move, whether intentional or not, was the spark that ignited the firestorm, because now viewers weren't just criticizing the video, they were questioning Meghan's honesty, her judgment, and whether she was weaponizing motherhood for clout and clicks. What was meant to boost her image had done the opposite, and suddenly, Meghan wasn't just facing social media backlash. She was facing a studio crisis, and the clock was ticking on how long Netflix would stand by her before pulling the plug completely. As the online backlash gained momentum, Netflix made a bold move. They organized a live test screening for Season 2 of With Love, Meghan, hoping to shift the narrative, win back the audience, and prove the show still had heart. But what they got instead was a full-blown PR catastrophe unfolding in real time. Meghan showed up ready to charm the room, standing center stage with a mic in hand, smiling as if nothing had happened, but the audience wasn't buying it. During the Q&A, someone stood up, respectfully, calmly, and asked about the pregnancy video, saying it felt tone-deaf, disconnected from real motherhood, and honestly, just out of touch with the struggles most parents face. That one question shattered the illusion. Meghan's smile faded, her posture stiffened, and instead of taking the feedback with grace, she snapped. She called them haters, accused them of being fake fans, and said they simply didn't get her vision, but the damage was already done. Her voice rose. The tension spiked. People flinched, and then she shouted into the mic loud enough to shake the room. And in that instant, Netflix staff knew they had lost control of the narrative. Producers rushed the stage in damage control mode, one of them taking the mic from Meghan's hand before things got worse. And in a desperate attempt to calm the crowd, they told the audience that the pregnancy video was not part of Netflix's official marketing, that Meghan had posted it on her own, without permission, without clearance, and without informing the studio. But instead of putting out the fire, that confession threw gasoline on it. The audience gasped. People realized Meghan had implied Netflix supported the video when they didn't, and now, she wasn't just being called tone-deaf, she was being called manipulative. That moment shifted everything. Headlines exploded, Twitter lit up, and behind the scenes, Netflix executives were livid. Ted Sarandos, Netflix's top boss, reportedly stormed into a closed-door meeting fuming. He had spent months defending Meghan, pushing back against criticism, insisting the show would turn things around. But after that meltdown, even he couldn't deny the truth. This wasn't edgy marketing. This wasn't misunderstood creativity. This was a full-on brand crisis, and Meghan Markle was now the face of it. And just when Netflix thought it couldn't get worse, they found out this wasn't an isolated outburst, because only days earlier, at a smaller screening event with a private focus group, Meghan had already shown signs of spiraling. According to sources in the room, she reacted defensively when given constructive criticism, interrupting viewers, talking over them, and even dismissing honest feedback with sarcasm. But here's the part that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. That entire moment was caught on camera. The footage hasn't been leaked publicly, not yet, but insiders say it's already circulating behind the scenes, shared in private boardrooms, whispered about at casting calls, and used as a quiet warning across the industry. It's not just a clip of someone losing their cool. It's a raw, unfiltered display of how Meghan handles pressure, and the verdict from executives is brutal. She's unstable, unpredictable, and unfit for live engagement. The effect was immediate. Streaming platforms that had previously shown interest in future collaborations began pulling back. Projects in early discussion phases were quietly dropped. Agencies stopped returning her team's emails. One insider put it bluntly, she's not just risky now, she's radioactive. While Meghan's team scrambled behind the scenes to control the fallout, Netflix had already shifted into silent retreat mode. Meetings about Season 3 were canceled without warning, press events were stripped of live Q&A sessions, and her presence in marketing materials was slowly dialed back without explanation. Internally, it was clear they were phasing her out, quietly and strategically, like removing a broken part from a high-speed machine without stopping the entire operation. But Meghan didn't back down. Instead, she doubled down. She jumped. On Instagram Live, hoodie on, makeup free, raw lighting, speaking directly to her followers like she was the victim of a smear campaign. She claimed to be misunderstood, accused the media of twisting her message, and insisted everything she did was rooted in love and motherhood, but the internet wasn't buying it. Comments were flooded with memes, jokes, and blunt criticism. Even longtime supporters were now saying they felt misled. What was once seen as brave now looked performative. What once passed as vulnerability now felt like manipulation. And just like that, Meghan Markle lost the one thing that had kept her afloat through every scandal: public sympathy. Back inside Netflix headquarters, the tone was no longer hopeful. It was surgical. Legal teams combed through Meghan's contract line by line, looking for a way out without triggering a public legal war. PR specialists began drafting statements they hoped they'd never have to release. Executives held back-to-back meetings, weighing every move like it was a chess game. Meghan wasn't officially fired, but everything around her was being quietly shut down. Budgets slashed, calls ignored, meetings delayed indefinitely. And while no one dared say it out loud in the press, inside Netflix, the message was clear. The Meghan Markle experiment was over. But then came the final blow. A major Hollywood trade magazine dropped a brutal expose detailing the Q&A disaster, confirming the internal chaos, and quoting an anonymous executive who said, "We had to take the mic out of her hand before she made it worse." That line exploded online, and suddenly, every corner of the internet, from TikTok to Twitter to morning talk shows, was dissecting Meghan's downfall like it was entertainment. Late-night comedians roasted her. YouTubers made reaction videos. Industry insiders leaked more. Meghan wasn't just losing her series, she was losing the room. As the internet devoured the expose, Meghan vanished from the spotlight. No Instagram lives, no statements, no paparazzi photos, just complete silence. And that silence said more than any post ever could. Sources close to her claim she was blindsided, devastated that Netflix didn't defend her, confused by how quickly the tide turned. But others say she knew exactly what was happening and simply didn't have a strategy to stop it. Meanwhile, Netflix was already moving on, pushing new talent, spotlighting safer projects, and privately vowing never again to gamble on a celebrity brand over proven content. In high-level boardrooms, Meghan's name became a case study, a warning label for studios considering partnerships based on fame instead of performance. Casting directors were steering clients away. Agencies were flagging her as high risk. The phrase "Meghan risk factor" started appearing in internal documents. This wasn't just about a bad show or one viral video. This was about trust, reputation, and the collapse of a brand built on image without foundation. And while Meghan's team kept pitching new projects, from documentaries to fashion deals to book proposals, the response was always the same: "We'll think about it," followed by silence. And behind closed doors, Netflix had already decided how this ends. No press conference, no official statement, no dramatic firing, just quiet expiration. Let the current contract run out. Don't greenlight anything new. Release Season 2 too. Salvage what little they can, and let her fade out without another headline. But even that plan came with a risk. Because what if Meghan flipped the script? What if she accused Netflix of silencing her, framed herself as the victim of systemic bias, or launched her own tell-all attack on the industry? The PR team was ready. They drafted responses, briefed execs, and mapped every possible scenario if she went nuclear. But she didn't. Instead, she stayed quiet, maybe by strategy, maybe by shock. And in that silence, the industry moved on without her. Other platforms stopped returning her team's calls. Former collaborators ghosted. Her name stopped trending, and when it did come up, it was in boardroom warnings, not development meetings. What began as a royal reinvention ended as a Hollywood cautionary tale. Meghan Markle didn't get canceled. She got frozen out, silently, professionally, and completely. Meghan Markle once believed she could rewrite her story, go from royal exile to Hollywood powerhouse, from misunderstood duchess to inspirational mogul. But what she underestimated was just how fast the industry turns when the cameras stop rolling and the goodwill runs dry. This wasn't about one video. This wasn't about one meltdown. This was about a pattern of missteps, of image over substance, of constantly chasing reinvention without grounding it in anything real. Hollywood gave her a stage. Netflix gave her millions. The public gave her attention. But in the end, none of it could protect her from the one thing she couldn't control, the backlash she created. Now, with her show quietly shelved, her name quietly flagged, and her offers quietly vanishing, Meghan isn't just out of the spotlight, she's out of moves. And in an industry built on comebacks, she may have just burned through her last one. Because in Hollywood, you don't get remembered for how loud you were. You get remembered for how you handled the moment when the room stopped clapping.